Hello everyone. Welcome to my YNR 24 spoilers. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Victor sends Jill reeling and Jack needles Kane. According to Wednesday, October 8th spoilers for The Young and the Restless, Jack Abbott puts pressure on Citizen Kane Ashby, while Victor Newman stuns Jill Abbott. When Jill returned to town, she argued with Nikki Newman about Kane right away. When Victor arrived on the scene, he learned that Nikki had requested Jill to join them in preventing the arrogant person from occupying Genoa City. Smooth-talking Victor intervened when Jill felt that Nikki had overreacted, promising to persuade her otherwise. Jill overreacts to protests. Will he be able to overcome the barriers Jill has put up to protect Kane? Despite being a clever businesswoman, she has affection for her ex's son. Victor has a lot of work ahead of him. Jack must deal with some pressure of his own in the meanwhile. Although he and Victor have decided to work together to oppose Kane, there is understandable mistrust on both sides. The men must use caution no matter how they choose to achieve the objective of neutralizing Kane. These days, Kane is a loose cannon who is subject to change. However, given that they were previously friends, Jack might convince Victor to let him take the initiative with Kane. Nikki needs responses. Nikki is still occupied with trying to assist her family in overthrowing them. Is she correct in believing that Jill holds the key to transforming Kane? Kane intends to use AI to take control of GC's puppet show, but he faces numerous opponents, including the fearsome. Spoilers for The Young and the Restless remind us that Nikki and Kane, the man who locked her kid up on his own fantasy island, are still in love. What comes next in Wisconsin's Genoa City? Do you believe Nikki will play on Jill's affections for Kane and appeal to her maternal side? YNR fans, what Kane did to poor Nick Newman in Nice? Does Jill even know? Peer pressure, shocking news, and looking for answers. According to Wednesday, October 8th spoilers for The Young and the Restless, there will be some shocking revelations soon. While one character is searching for answers, another is subjected to peer pressure, and someone receives terrible news. What can we expect from Wednesday's performance? It's time to find out. Jill Abbott's startling disclosure. According to Wednesday, October 8th spoilers for The Young and the Restless, Victor Newman will break some startling news to Jill Abbott. During the Tuesday, October 7th episode, Nikki Newman was attempting to persuade Jill to assist in thwarting Kane's scheme to seize control of all the major GC firms. Victor pledged to change Jill's mind when he entered the conversation as the show was coming to an end. But Jill wasn't buying Nikki's narrative that Kane had become a vicious man. Although Jill remained dubious, it appears that the mustache will convince her about her fictitious son. But what is this amazing fact Victor is about to share with Jill? Read this. Spoiler alert for The Young and the Restless. Kane used Chancellor control to win Jill back? Nikki Newman looks for solutions. In relation to Nikki, she will be searching for answers. What specifically does she want to know, and where will this lead her? Could this be about someone or something else? Or about Kane and his plan? To discover out, fans will need to tune in. The pressure of Jack Abbott. Lastly, Wednesday's teasers for The Young and the Restless hint that Jack Abbott will put pressure on Kane to act morally. Will their little conversation accomplish anything, given that Kane is notorious for doing the exact opposite? Is Jack trying to find out more about Kane's activities, or is he trying to alter the wealthy mogul's plan? Kane and Jack were formerly business associates, and Kane does respect Jack. But will this be sufficient to change his present trajectory? Time will tell. Which plot point in Wednesday's program are you most excited about? Leave a comment below. Opening scene. Tense in Genoa City. Genoa is a city that never sleeps, particularly when ambition, treachery, and a strained love are tearing it apart. Tension permeates the opening of Wednesday, October 8th. Not all of the power players are aware of how deeply etched the battle lines are, but they have already drawn them. A strike that might destroy Jill Abbott's entire world is about to be delivered by Victor Newman, the titan who has witnessed every betrayal the city has to offer. Jack Abbott is honing his plan across town in preparation for piercing Kane Ashby's shaky dominion. In between, Nikki Newman portrays the improbable mediator, or, possibly, the spark that starts the whole conflict. The hum of aspiration is nearly palpable as the camera moves around Chancellor Winter's tower at the start of the day. Jill has returned inside and is already surrounded by the action. Jill's comeback and the argument with Nikki. Every time Jill Abbott returns to Genoa City, there's a lot of excitement and fireworks. She approaches Nikki Newman, who is waiting with her trademark serene smile, her pointed heels clicking against society's marble floors. However, beneath Nikki's composure lies strain, the kind that results from a frantic attempt to stop Kane Ashby before the city is overrun by his empire. Jill narrows her eyes and says, "Let me get this straight. You want me to join you and Victor in some kind of crusade against him, betraying the son I practically raised? Nikki, have you gone insane?" Nikki lets out a slow breath. "Jill, this isn't personal. It's survival and business. You used to defend Kane, but he's changed. He has evolved. You are aware of that. Modified?" Jill laughs. "He has matured. There is a distinction. The air between them crackles. Jill has a long past with Kane, but she also has a strong devotion to him. The fact that Nikki is even seeking assistance raises concerns because she is aware that she is not prone to panic. The doors open, and Victor Newman enters before the dispute can become any worse. Victor walks into the arena. Victor, played by Eric Braeden, commands a room rather than simply entering it. Like a razor, his voice slashes through the tension. He says calmly, "Ladies, I couldn't help but overhear." Nikki looks both relieved and cautious as she crosses her arms. Jill furrows her brow. "You couldn't, of course," she murmurs. "You always arrive on time." That iconic half-smirk from Victor. "I came because I think you deserve the truth. The whole truth about Kane Ashby, Jill, my dear." That catches her eye. Jill's eyes flash with intrigue as she tilts her head, seeming to be uninterested. Victor lowers his voice and leans forward a little. Victor remarks, "You think Kane is just growing his business. But in reality, he is consolidating power by controlling all of the city's key corporations through influence, financial systems, and artificial intelligence. Jabot, Newman, and Chancellor Winters. He's putting himself in the role of puppet master." Jill gives a headshake. "That is ridiculous. Kane isn't." Victor cuts in abruptly. "Jill, he has already taken action against your business. In opposition to you." A long silence. It's the first time Jill loses her cool. She searches for indications of dishonesty between Victor and Nikki, but she doesn't uncover any. "Victor, what are you saying? I was played by that Kane." Victor's eyes sparkle. "I'm saying that he diverted your attention by using your affection. He is not interested in your collaboration. He desires your legacy." Jill's falling defense and denial. Jill gasps for air. She is briefly taken back to the time Kane first came into her life, when she was charming, lost, and in need of a place to call home. He made her think about second chances and Philip. She thought she could protect him, mold him, and guide him. "No," she mumbles. "That is not what he would do. Not to me." Nikki moves in closer. "Jill, give it some thought. Your calls have been ignored by him. He is excluding you from choices made by the Chancellor. He is forcing AI systems into divisions that you created yourself. That is control, not growth. And once he has control, he'll discard you," Victor adds icily, "in the same way that he has betrayed everyone else who has trusted him." Jill averts her gaze, while frantically blinking to combat the pain of betrayal. She is losing the battle between her emotions and instincts. Her voice is quivering but piercing as she finally exclaims, "Damn you, Victor! You've got a knack for twisting the knife." Victor gives a serious nod. "Only when it is required by the truth." The words are hefty, with mixed emotions in her eyes. Jill turns to face Nikki. Kane has turned into something much worse than Philip could have ever envisioned for him. If what you're saying is accurate. Nikki gives a soft nod. Then, before it's too late, assist us in stopping him. In the meantime, Jack's calculated pressure at Jabot. Jack Abbott is sitting in his office at Jabot, gazing out at the skyline of the city. His alliance with Victor is a delicate one. Both men realize it's fleeting. Their common objective is to eliminate Kane Ashby. However, their approaches are quite dissimilar. Jack likes to be exact. Domination is what Victor wants. Jack thoughtfully pours a glass for himself. He murmurs to himself, someone needs to go after Kane from the inside if Victor is going after him head-on. He answers the phone. It's Jack Kane. We must speak. Kane's office, the change in power. Behind his slick, contemporary desk sits Kane Ashby, a guy who appears to be every inch the tycoon he has grown into. But there's paranoia underneath the veneer. His enemies grow more numerous as he grows, and the specters of his past become more audible. Kane smirks as he stands when Jack enters. Jack Abbott, I wanted to know when you would arrive. I suppose you were sent by Victor. Jack laughs. Please, I don't get anywhere from Victor. However, it appears that we are both worried about your quick development. Kane reclines. It is not a crime to grow. No, Jack says calmly. However, manipulation is. The air gets heavier. Jack lowers his voice as he approaches. Kane, I've seen this game before. The delusion of control and the desire for power. It never ends well. Not for everyone. Kane's arms are folded. You believe you can give me a power lecture? You and Victor have been manipulating people's lives for decades. Jack gives a small smile. That's precisely the reason I'm cautioning you. You are entering an unwinnable conflict. The psychological needling of Jack. Jack's voice becomes gentle, convincing, and almost paternal. Kane, you believe you're changing the rules. However, men like us are humbled by Genoa City. Take a look at Victor. He is still vying for supremacy 50 years later. I'm recreating Jabot for the 100th time. Look at me. You're not the only man who believed he could defy fate. Kane's eyes narrow. Jack, what do you want? Before you ruin everything, I want you to leave. Chancellor, Jill, your reputation. Jill? Kane yells, his voice abruptly harsh. Avoid her involvement in this. Jack cocks his head. Why? Since she is the only one who still thinks you can be saved? The jab hits. Kane's mouth clenches. You have no idea what you're discussing. Jack murmurs. Oh, I know exactly what I'm talking about. Everyone who ever trusted you has been betrayed by you. Even Jill. You simply lack the courage to acknowledge it. Kane's confidence falters for a moment. Jack realizes he's hit gold in that instant when he turns away. Jack says, let me make you an offer. Step back. Give up your dominant stake in the AI initiatives. We'll let you leave without damaging what remains of your legacy if you do it discreetly. Kane lets out a dark, sardonic laugh. You have Victor's voice. Perhaps that's because we're on the same side for once. Nikki's research, looking for solutions. Nikki Newman is on a mission across town. She has been tidying up Victor's mess for years, but this feels different. Kane poses a threat to the stability of the city as well as to businesses. At Society, she meets Audra Charles. Nikki declares, Audra, I want all of the files on Kane's AI endeavors, investors, off-book accounts, everything. Audra's eyebrows go up. Are you certain Victor is comfortable with this? Nikki firmly responds, Victor doesn't need to know everything. I'm defending Genoa City and my family the way I see fit this time. Audra smiles. You sound like him now. Nikki takes out her phone as Audra leaves and looks at a picture of her family, who are grinning and oblivious to the impending conflict. She narrows her eyes. She murmurs, Kane Ashby, you don't know who you're up against. Victor's power move, the startling information. Victor is back at Newman Enterprises getting ready for his next move. He invites Jill to a secret meeting and promises her information that she can't afford to ignore. Victor doesn't spend any time in welcoming Jill. Victor slides a packet across the desk and states, "Kane has been using Chancellor data to fund his AI division. With your signature and the use of private Chancellor accounts." Jill's face becomes pale. That isn't feasible. When Victor opens the folder, he sees transaction records, forged authorizations, and digital forgeries. Jill, it's not only feasible, it is taking place. As she turns the pages, her hand shakes. Her handwriting appears in every document, but it is not hers. She murmurs, "He faked my signature. He took something from me." Victor gives a nod, and he's already laundering the profits through shell companies in Zurich. Numb, Jill slumps into the chair. Everything she has defended and constructed is disintegrating in front of her. Victor bends over. "Now you understand why Nikki was correct. Kane is vicious in addition to being deadly. If you go in his way, he will burn you to the ground." Jill blinks away the tears that build up in her eyes. "No," she murmurs. "He won't have the final say. Not now." A knowing smirk curls Victor's lips. "All right, since I have a strategy." The beginning of Kane's decline. Kane's empire starts to show signs of weakness as Jill struggles with Victor's disclosure. His investors begin to withdraw. His AI systems experience unexpected technical issues, and there are reports that Newman and Jabot have teamed up against him. He yells commands as he bursts into his office. Who gave the go-ahead for such withdrawals? His helper pauses. "Mr. The accounts are frozen, Ashby. Both Newman and the Chancellor Board are participating in the probe. Kane has frigid blood." "Jill!" She doesn't pick up when he reaches for his phone. In that moment, he realizes she has betrayed him. Realizing who is behind the psychological warfare, he murmurs, "Damn it, Jack. You believe you've triumphed? You are unaware of my abilities." Jill's confrontation, anger, and heartache. Jill barges into Kane's office later that night. Betrayal, heartache, anger, and regret all collide, creating an explosive energy. "How were you able to?" She slams the falsified paperwork onto his desk and demands, "You took advantage of me. My trust, my name, everything." Kane stands with a pallid face. "It's not what it looks like, Jill." She yells, "Don't tell me lies." "Kane, I showed you how to play this game. Don't act as though you didn't forge my signature to avoid insulting me." Kane's silence speaks for itself. Her voice cracks as she says, "You could have had everything, but you opted for power instead. You made the greedy decision." Kane takes a step toward him. "I decided to survive." With tears streaming down her face, Jill shakes her head. "No, you made the decision to become what you said you detested." Kane grabs her arm as she turns to walk away. "Please, Jill." Fury blazing, she spins. "You have no right to touch me. I'm gone from you. Additionally, you will lose everything else after Victor is done with you." Kane is left standing by himself when she leaves, a man surrounded by success yet utterly broken. The uneasy victory of Jack and Victor. Jack and Victor take an uncomfortable drink at society. Their ceasefire seems as brittle as glass. "So, we've wound him," Jack explains. "However, you are aware that Kane will strike back." Victor smiles. "Give him a chance. For the final time he has miscalculated the Abbotts, and the—" Jack twirls his beverage. "Even so, the day you and I are on the same side is odd." Victor laughs softly. "Jack, make the most of it while it lasts. It won't occur once more." Two titans briefly allied, but constantly planning their next move, clink glasses. The silence before the next storm epilogue. Genoa City is enveloped in darkness. Sitting alone herself in the Chancellor estate, Jill gazes at the framed picture of herself and Kane taken many years ago. Victor texts her, saying he won't recover from this. Her phone buzzes. Take it easy. She shakes her head and puts the phone down. Easy rest. No chance, she murmurs. Not until I return everything that he took. Kane, meantime, sits in the dark and looks at the city lights as the Empire eludes him. He appears to be a stranger in the window reflection. He whispers, "You think you've defeated me, Victor. But there is still more to play." In the interim, Nikki Newman shuts her journal and silently prays for her family, not realizing that the mayhem she helped cause is just getting started.